Hey, cool. Oh, wait, gotta go live. Gotta go live. I think last week, on the Friday study group, I did the entire study group portion, and then once I was done reading the material, then we usually do like our question and answer or Q&A about the material, and I totally forgot to go live on Facebook and YouTube. So I basically was only on Instagram, and then I was like, oh crap. So I didn't realize it. And then I went ahead and went live on Facebook. So I was like, oh, and on YouTube. So I was like, oh my God, I went through the entire study group and totally like omitted like all those people who were like, I thought that were watching the live and didn't even go live, so I forgot to press the button. So I was make sure I didn't do that today, because yeah, we want to make sure that we're consistent, right? So hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Hope your Wednesday's going okay. It's been an interesting day for sure. So I'm seeing a bunch of y'all in here now. Hello, hi Emily, hey Veronica, hey Denise. All right, so for those of you who are new to my lives, every Wednesday and Friday I get on here, and for an hour I basically do readings for you guys. So I answer your questions. I try to answer as many questions as I can, and I try to connect with as many of you as I can. So for the first half of the hour, I try to focus more on comment-based questions, and then for the second half of the hour, I will answer questions via video. So if you want to be on video with me and you want to connect with me directly, you got to get over to Instagram, because that's where I'm doing the video connects. So that's where I will be. So as soon as you get into Instagram, at the bottom, there's a little like button right down there that's got a little camera with a cross on it. And if you click that, you can request to be live. And I will pick people from those requests, and then we'll try to bring a few of you on to do some of the to do readings for you guys. So you can ask me about your life circumstances, meaning that you can ask me about your health, finances, career, and work and relationships, but you need to be specific with your question, because we only have so much time, and I can't devote like a crap load of time to each person's question. I try to, even though sometimes I go into a rambling bit, and then I start to like make the time go by faster. But I totally lost my train of thought. We're getting back to it. Yeah. So you can ask. So please ask me specific questions. Meaning that if you've got like 1 minute to ask a doctor a question, what's the question you would ask them? And remember, they don't have the time to diagnose or to go through an entire checkup. Just need to get into the question. So that's the way you treat these. Help me to understand what you're asking, because I don't know everything. I don't see everything. People always assume psychics and mediums that we know everything and see everything. We do not. No psychic or medium can do that. It's never happened. But we're able to sense the detail and tune in, and that's what we're able to do. And if we're really good or trained, we can sense a lot of information or detail. So that's what I do. So if you want to know about your life, be specific with your question. What exactly are you asking me about in pertaining to your life? Don't just say, what do you see for my health, or I want a reading, or tell me something. That's a waste of time to even write that out. Just be specific with your question, or I'm just going to skip it. So just FYI with that. If you are asking about a loved one in spirit, let me know who you want to connect with, and I will try to connect with that person mentally and see if I can give you any messages from them to let you know that they're with you as well. What else? And your questions don't always have to be pertaining to your life or to, a loved one in spirit. If you want to connect, if you want to ask me a spiritual based question, you can ask me whatever question you can think of. Some people ask me about their past lives. Some people ask me about their spirit guides. It just depends on what that person wants to know. So feel free to ask me those kinds of questions as well. I'm not going in any particular order. I'm just going to be like bouncing around. I go with where I feel called to. If you have anybody popping in on Facebook and on YouTube, like right now there's Olawali. They're trolls. Those are people who are at a computer, or bots at a computer in a different country, who are trying, there could be in this country too, but who are basically trying to get you to message them so that they can take your money. So that has nothing to do with me. I don't message people while I'm on my lives. So anybody who messages you on the lives, or asks you to private message them, those are trolls. They're going to try to get you to give away money. So I wouldn't even respond, or I would go ahead and I wouldn't even comment. It's like a waste of energy. I would just report that person as spam and block them. And so that's what I would do. If you are, let's see, what else am I supposed to say? Oh, if you, some people, they will message me asking me how to make an appointment, or asking me, where can I find your services, or how can I book something. It's pretty simple, y'all. There's two ways to get there. You can get there just by going to my website, fernandomorone.com. You go there, everything's on there. You want to know about pricing, or you want to know about appointment availability, etc. It's all there. So that's the best way to get a session with me if you want one. If not, just keep coming back here. These are free. There's no charge. What else? Oh, I would appreciate it if y'all could give me a thumbs up or give me a heart. And also if y'all can send this video out to whomever, or just tag a friend who might be interested in a reading, or who might be interested in the work that I do as well. Part of my mission here is to help as many people as I can, and to try to teach as many people as I can, and to share as much of what I understand and know from personal experience, spiritual knowledge, wisdom, life advice, to share as much as I can with as many people as I can. So that's part of my mission. It helps me with my mission to share the video feed with anybody, so that they can be like, oh, who's this fool? And then they'll look me up and they're like, oh, okay, well, this is what this person's into. But then they'll find all the free stuff, which I have tons of free stuff for those of you who like free stuff. Everybody likes free stuff, right? There's a free psychic development class on YouTube. It's the first starting place. It's free. You can get there through my website. There's the podcast. There's the articles. There are... What else? There's videos on YouTube. There's a crap load of videos on YouTube, because I offer a lot of videos on YouTube as well. So check those out. I think y'all would enjoy and appreciate those as well. Okay. As usual, my statements are personal opinions, not proven facts. Whatever decisions or actions you take in your life after you receive information from me is entirely on you. You're liable for that, not I. So, and also you should always consult with a licensed medical doctor, counselor, attorney, or law enforcement official for legal medical advice or treatment. Remember that the future is never set in stone. The future is a probability, a likely probability. So when I tune into the future, I'm not seeing certainties, I'm seeing probabilities, meaning that all of the variables, the energy variables, are leaning or basically building into an event or into a situation that's going to happen. And I pick up on that energy, and I can pretty much assume or make my best guess, which is a prediction of what's to come. That's what we do. We're kind of like weathermen for energy and for trends in the world. So that's what we do. Okay. All right, guys. So like I said, I'm not going in any particular order. Of course, I don't always read everybody. So there's only so many people I will read. Some people I know expect that I will get to them at some point. But just remember, guys, if you've been popping into these for a while now, and I haven't been able to answer your question, or I haven't gotten around to you, take a look at the question you're asking, or how you're asking it. Because if it's not asked the way that I ask you to, that's probably why. So just FYI with that. Okay. All right, let's see. Going around here, going around. Vanny Rod 84. Hi, Ferny. Love you. I love you too. How do you see things at work going for me this upcoming month? It's been pretty stressful when it used to not be. I feel like the next 3 months are going to be stressful. So I think that the next 3 months you can expect that it'll still be stressful. I also think that there's going to be this interesting split with the tasks, or with the workload, or with the project load. So it feels like you might be having to focus on like one thing while you're trying to simultaneously keep up with some other things as well. Technically there should be two people doing these separate sets of activities, but I feel like you might find yourself doing double the work. So just FYI with that, but that may only be for like 2 or 3 months. And then once the school year starts, I feel like things start to settle down, or things seem to be less stressed. So I think that after 3 months, things will kind of be okay. Tani Tlo Bruner. I don't even think I said any of that correctly, but bear with me. I am in the process of starting a new journey that requires surgery. What do you see about this surgery? Yeah. I actually think that there might end up being 2, possibly 3 separate procedures in all. So I feel like there's a main procedure or primary procedure, and then there's two secondary ones that come up. This is all within like a 3 years time, so I would say that the first one is more of like the bulk of it, and then there's two follow-up procedures that may end up happening. I feel fine with it, but I also think you might be given choices or options to either go about things with an older procedure, or with a newer procedure, a newer version of the procedure, which may have better, which there may be more better results, let's put it that way. So I think that you'll end up doing the second or the newer procedure, and I think that'll work out for you. Yeah, Miss J Cam 16. Any messages from my deceased mom and sister? I've been missing them like crazy. Yeah. So first of all, I'm seeing. It's gonna sound weird. I keep seeing the cat in the hat. So I don't know if there's a Dr. Seuss connection. With one of them or with your sister. What's interesting about it is when I think of the cat in the hat, one year I was the cat in the hat for Halloween. So I wore like the entire outfit. I keep seeing that. So there might be like a cat in a hat or like a reference to cat and hats together because I keep seeing that in my mind. They're also acknowledging, thank you. They're also acknowledging, so one of them is taking me somewhere. I feel like I'm going over to this area that reminds me of like a river or a stream, and I feel like I just want to sit down and relax and just like watch the water. That's what one of them is showing me. So I'm assuming this is a memory of a place that y'all may have frequented or may have gone to, but it almost feels like I want to just sit down and relax and watch the water. So there's a reference to that as well. I am seeing a bracelet, so there might be a bracelet connected to one of them as well. I want to say that's your sister with the bracelet, so there might be a reference to that as well. The number 15 may also be significant. So the 15th of a month may be important, or January 5th is significant as well. Okay. Farrington, Angel, LaDanny. Oh, Angela, Danny. That's what I was like. What do we? The words. Hi, Ferny. Do I need to see a fertility doctor to get pregnant? I feel like I'm asking myself when I see baby energy for you. I don't see baby energy until the end of 2023. So this might be a bit of a journey for you. I'm going to say probably, just because if it's taking into 2023, I feel like you might actually see two separate types of doctors. One may be a fertility, unless you're going to see two different types of fertility doctors. But I do feel like you're probably going to see, no, I think one is a fertility, one is a hormonal specialist. So I think it's a combination. So I think that's going to be where that's at. But yeah, I feel like when I look and when I ask myself, where's your baby or where's the baby energy? I don't see a baby energy until like the end of 2023. So you might be a little whiles away before you end up having a baby. Okay. But keep trying, keep doing it. I have a friend who she went to a fertility expert and they were like, we don't understand why you're not having children because you should be having children. And it just wasn't happening. But she kept going, she kept trying. And then 2 years later, she ended up getting pregnant. It took a while, but she did end up having a baby. Yeah, all I took was my barbell. I had a dream years ago of myself walking into a bright sunlit condo and felt it was the start of my new life. I felt like I'm on the right path to my dreams, but just needed some reassurance. So a sunlit condo, it depends on the type of condo it is, because if you're thinking about a condo where it's just like an area in a high rise, that can just be like an apartment. It feels like an apartment. But if you're thinking of a condo where it's like, beautiful views and you get to see, etc., which if it's sunlit, then it would probably have that vibe to it. What I think the dream represents in this instance is, first of all, the bright sunlit condo. The bright sunlit part represents that the universe is basically casting light or making clear what is possible or what is available to you. So it's almost like an invitation. The condo itself, where it's like a minimum, because condos can be very easy to maintain because it's not like a house where you have to worry about the roof, you have to worry about all these other things that go along with houses. So With a condo, it may mean that your path to achieving your goals may actually be easier or may be much more simpler than you expect, or you just need to focus on being as simple about stuff as possible, because that can get you to your goal. I do feel that you will achieve your goals. I actually think that in about 2 years, you might actually make a change with your living situation. I'm not sure if you're going to a condo yet, but I feel like in 2 years there is a change that may take you closer to where you're wanting to be at. Okay, I actually wouldn't be surprised if you consider moving out of state, because I almost feel like there's an opportunity to move out of state that may come up for you as well. Rhonda Fayware. Hey Ferny, does my spirit guides have any messages for me? Do you know their names? Yeah. The main guide, which is the one that I would only be concerned with, the other guides may just be secondary, but the main guide's name is Tor Torion. It sounds like Torion. Could be Torilon, but I feel like it's Torion. So it sounds like that. It's a male. He's actually really attractive. I'm like getting the hots for your guide. I'm like getting the hots for your guys. I'm like he's like got these really pretty features, and like yeah, that's the way he'll show up to you. Your guide. What does he want you to know? You need to stop worrying so much. You need to have a little more fun. You also need to be a little more clear with the people around you, because you may need to work on your boundaries, and sometimes you are still affected by some childhood trauma, and so sometimes you may not allow people in as closely, or sometimes you need to be more selective with who you allow in your circle, because if not, then you might find yourself feeling like you've been taken advantage of, or like people are not appreciative of what you're able to help them with or what you're able to do for them. So be aware of that, but you need to have a little more fun and worry less. Rita Louise Lopez. Fernie, is there a message from my grandma Margaret, or Marguerite? It could be Marguerite. Someone's Margaret. I really hope her and my grandpa approved of my fiance and me getting remarried. So I'm asking them, how do they feel about the marriage? And they're showing me like blowing up balloons. So I would take that as a sign of approval, because when you're blowing up balloons for a party, that would make sense that you're up for a good party. So I think that they're just acknowledging it as, ready to have fun or ready to have a good time. So I would say yes, that there's approval there. However, here's some things you need to work on. Next summer 2022, y'all might run into some issues, or you may run into some challenges financially, and that may become an issue within the relationship because of spending habits, etc., and stuff that was supposed to have been dealt with and wasn't dealt with or covered as far as the costs of. It may have to do with, like, it's funny because I'm gonna say it's funny, but it's interesting because it almost reminds me of like when someone has like an unpaid parking ticket, or someone owes money for child support, it hasn't paid it. It almost feels like something that's been owed or that's been due, but it hasn't been dealt with yet. Y'all may need to look and see if anything is outstanding, so y'all don't run into issues next summer. But I feel like they're approving of the relationship. Also, your grandmother comes around and she smells like roses. So if you ever smell the roses, that's going to be connected to grandma. Also, she's showing me a little bit Virgen de Guadalupe, which I don't know if you're a Catholic or not, but the Virgen de Guadalupe is the Blessed Virgin Mary, or the Blessed Mother. So she's showing me something like that. So if you have something like this and you think of your grandma, this is her way of letting you know that she's with you. Okay. Um, J. Scott Ray. Hi, Fernie. You told me previously something wonderful would happen in May. Any insight? Yeah, I feel the way I would describe it is, let's say, let me kind of like create a scenario to help you understand the way I'm thinking about this. Let's say there was a piece of land and I wanted to develop it, but I can't because I don't have the approval, or I don't have the permission to go forward with the project. And so suddenly I get the approval, or I get the permission to go forward with the project, and it's a really big deal. It reminds me of that. It almost feels like that. So I don't know if I'm not sure about the work that you're in, but it almost feels like it might have to do with either investments or with a project or work like that, because it almost feels like I get approval, or I get I get the go ahead, and I'm able to move forward to the next stage, or we're able to do the next stage of something. So it's almost like a go ahead is how I feel. Is how I would describe it. Yeah, K Larray 529. Hi, Ferny. What do you see for my future business plans? Do you see this beginning to bloom soon? I feel I've been given a gift that brings healing to others, but navigating the exact way I meant to. So with this, I'm assuming you're talking about the business and healing together. Like I'm assuming that's all one question. Um, Two things that I think you need to work on. And it's interesting because sometimes people who have abilities or have gifts or have, a tendency to be able to do something, they don't always make the best business savvy people. If you'll notice that most of the people who are in this industry don't do it full time, they do it part time, and they support themselves or maintain a full time job with benefits because they aren't willing to take the risk. And I understand it because a lot of them don't have the know-how to really do this business part successfully. The energy part or the sensing part or the psychic work, that all its own they can be good at that, but if they're not great at business, then they're not going to get very far. With you, there's two things that I would suggest is minimize your costs, meaning that you need to not overspend on investing in the business. So for example, in my early stages of my business, I was insistent on having a location that was like a professional office or building. And so I ended up setting up office in like Highland Village for a while. But it was costly and it really wasn't worth the expense. And so after that, I tried because that wasn't working for me. After that, I tried a different location. Again, trying to think that I had to be in like some sort of a set place or office building, and then it was a waste of money, honestly. My business didn't start blooming and blossoming until I just started working from home and set my space up so that it was welcoming and accommodating, and it was the space that people felt comfortable in. So that helped me tremendously, and it cut my expenses. Granted, people had to, because my house was back when this was in Houston, was in the transition period of Houston where there's like a gentrification area, but it was still the hood. I grew up in that area, so it was still the hood for me. But and even though there were some clients who were like, I don't know about this area, Ferny, but they still came because it was worth it for them. So they came, and there was no problem with that. So what I would say to you is don't worry so much about having to look a certain way. Focus more on cutting costs and making it so that you don't have to spend as much money to get it established properly. You need to also advertise, because I don't feel like you're doing enough networking or advertising, and I think that might make all the difference in the world for your business as well. I do think that in November, you'll have an opportunity to meet someone who is already doing it or who has some know-how about some of the things you're going to need some help with, and they might actually be able to help you. It'll cost you, but I think it'll totally be worth the effort. And then after that, I feel like there's progress, there's momentum, there's progress. Okay. Also, make sure that you're connecting enough with people on social media, because social media is the future at this point. Like, people thinking that we're going to get off social media, it's not going to happen. Like, social media is the way that we communicate and we connect with each other. So it's the best way to build a business up. Sen Samiyas. Greetings, Ferny. Would it be good for me to work with Saint Germain, the Violet Flame? So here's the thing about working with different kinds of energies or beings. When you think there's us, there's God, which is the everything. There's us, which is a singular perspective, a representation of God. We are God, but we're in singular form. We don't have the enormity of God because God is all things. We're focused in one singular perspective. So that's us. The in-betweens are where our guides, and you have people who experience angels and also channelers, etc. All that stuff is in the middle here. It doesn't matter whether you want to work with Saint Germain or you want to work with Lilith, the fairy, or if you want to work with, something that you want to come up with or make up. It does not matter, because ultimately it's you and universe or God and source. which is the same thing. It's you and source. And anything in the middle is whatever you need to access that higher ability that you possess. Whatever you need to use, if you want to call it Saint Germain and you want to call it whatever, doesn't matter. You can use it and you can get a lot from it, but you just have to be intentional. And you have to be very clear with the kind of energy that you're going to be dealing with. The reason why I don't really have to deal with lower vibratory states or energies, meaning like negative minded energies, beings, etc., is because I don't have the time for it. I don't have the room, I don't have the space, I don't have the time for it in my head. Like, I'm here to help and I'm here to do work. I don't have time to deal with foolery. And these like spirits and beings, they're gonna get it from me if they come to me to deal with anything. So they stay away from me. So as long as you have an intention and you know your worth and being, you don't have to worry about dealing with these lower level energies. They will stay away from you because it's just not, it's not conducive to what they're trying to what serves that energy. So it's entirely up to you if you want to, but just be intentional about it. Yeah, Jocelyn, Ashley, hi Ferny, can you tell me anything about my husband's green card? We have been in the process since 2016. Yes, y'all may have to follow up or check in. I think that there's going to be, it's either in July or in October this year. There might be an opportunity for y'all to apply for like a temporary, what is it called? It's almost like, whenever you go get a license and they give you like a temporary license until you have your permanent one. I almost feel like if you find out or if you check in with whoever the entity is or the representative that you need to talk to, if you check in with them either in July or in October, I feel like y'all can get a temporary 1 year thing while some things are being cleared up. And part of this is just because there's a backlog. There's a lot of like delays in the system. And so even though y'all been waiting for a while, there's also delays going on as well. So that's adding to the time frame. But it feels like there's a temporary measure or a temporary permit or a temporary thing y'all can get so that he feels a little bit better or y'all feel a little bit better either in July or in October of this year. And then he'll end up, I feel like he'll get his green card by I want to say by the end of next year, 2022. So by like November, December of next year, I think he's got it. Ali Logo. Hi, Ferny. Does my grandpa, Americo, has a message for me? Yeah. So one thing he's doing, first of all, he's whistling or chiflando. He's whistling. So when my grandpa used to whistle all the time. He used to sing his songs and whistle and all that other stuff. He's whistling, but I don't know if he's singing a song with whistling or he's just trying to whistle because it's the thing he used to do. He also makes me feel thank you. He's doing this. I don't know if y'all have a ring that still belongs to your grandpa or if he had issues with one of his fingers, but he's also doing this as well. Either that or if you're engaged, he knows about the marriage. So let's just put it that way because that can be interpreted in two different ways. He also keeps acknowledging thank you. There might be a picture or an image of him where he's wearing like a bluish, navy bluish colored like shirt that's got a pocket because he showed me an image of him with this shirt. It might even have a name tag on it or it may have some sort of name on it. I'm gonna say if it's a name. I guess it would be a name. I guess it's like a name tag or it's like a thing that goes right here. But he's showing me an image of himself with this like blue vein as well. It's funny because whenever I think of navy blue and I'm talking about like spirits, I always think back to ghosts because they're like, navy blue, it's a black or is it navy blue? Like it reminds me of that. It's one of my favorite movies. Another thing also is he is acknowledging thank you. It's going to sound weird. I don't know if y'all have a globe that is connected to Grandpa. What I mean by globe is like an earth, like a round globe. That's what I'm seeing. So I don't know if there's a globe that y'all have that was his, or if there's something that has like the world or globe on it that he's making reference to as well, because he's shown me something like that also. I also keep smelling like this fumey smell. I almost feel like it's cigarettes or it's like smoke, but I'm not exactly sure it's actually cigarettes. It might just be like a chemical smell. So if he had any dealings or if he did anything with this chemical smell, that may be him coming around y'all to let you know he's around you. Also, the 12th is connected as well. So the 12th of a month or December may also be connected. Let's go over here. Emily Chapa. Hey, Ferny, any messages from my dad, from my mom? Thank you. Yeah, I'm hearing anniversary, so I don't know if y'all are within 30 days of an anniversary or if he passed around an anniversary, but he's showing me anniversary. So I'm assuming he's referring to an anniversary date of significance. I almost feel like it might be a wedding anniversary or a relationship anniversary. But like I said, normally whenever I see that, it's usually within 30 days of when I'm being told, or it's at the timing of the passing, but he's making reference to that. He also keeps acknowledging that he came in a dream. He might have even been dressed in white or dressed in like something that feels very light in coloring. He also keeps showing me that he tried to call her name or say something to her, so she may have heard his voice as well, and that would be him also. Lena Freeman. Hi, Ferny, love. My bae has been subliminally saying things about he making me his girl. Is he serious? When is he gonna stop being shy and just make it official? So I think that is what he wants. So I think that's his intention. However, it may feel like he's giving you mixed messages for a couple months. So I would say you probably need to be patient and wait a couple months, because it's going to feel like he's giving mixed messages. Also, he might still be dealing with, or there may still be some drama that may come up from a past relationship. So you may just have to be patient, because he may have to get involved with something that he thought he was done with, as far as like issues that may have been connected to that. So just FYI with that. But I feel like in a couple of months, he might be more like ready to take it to the next level, but you may just have to be patient. I do think he intends, or that's what he's intending for, but saying one thing and doing one thing are two different things. And I don't think he's still there yet. So just be patient. Lindsay Amador. Hi, Ferny. I hope you are doing well. Do you have any messages from my grandma bar? Yeah, I'm seeing she's doing this. So she's making the symbol for baby. So normally when I see that, it's usually my sign for there's a baby that's been born since her passing and she's aware of. There's a baby with her, or there's a baby on the way. So she's acknowledging this baby. So she's making reference to this. She also shows me the number 7 or 17. I want to say it's maybe the 7th, so I'm going to go with 7. So either the 7th of a month is connected or July is connected, because she showed me that number as well. She also keeps showing me a picture of someone with flowers around their head. You know what it almost reminds me of? Like when you get those filters on like Instagram, where you get those picture filters and there's like flowers around someone's head. It almost reminds me of that. So there's something like that she's making reference to as well. So either someone took her picture and put flowers around her head, or she's acknowledging an image. Well, she's acknowledging an image with flowers on the head. So that's what I'm assuming she's talking about. She also keeps acknowledging that there might also be a necklace or a rosary that's connected to her as well. Thank you, Leslie. Rihanna Barnes. When will I have my first baby? Um, I'm seeing baby energy for you twice in the next year, actually. One is in December of this year, and then I'm seeing another period of baby energy for you next May or June. So that can mean a couple of things. Again, when I see baby energy, is usually someone's pregnant, they're having a baby, or they're celebrating their baby shower, or they're having some stuff going on with their reproductive system. The December thing, I think, might be more of either it has to do with your reproductive system and you having to check some things out, or it just may have to do with a false positive and you thinking you're pregnant but you're not. But then I'm seeing energy next year around the May-June timeframe as well. So I'm thinking the energy that I'm seeing for next May-June may actually have may actually be like a baby. So there may be a baby, you either getting pregnant or you celebrating your baby shower at that time. Okay. Annie Gates. Will I get moved house this year, please? I think you're asking if you'll get a new house this year or get another house. Not this year. February. So I would say January, February-ish is when I'm thinking you might be able to do this. You might try this year, but for some reason something feels like it's gonna get delayed, or you may just not look at. You may not find something that's gonna work for you. So I think you may have to wait until early next year, 2022. Dasha Morales. Hi, Ferny. My boyfriend has had cancer since December and they gave him a month. Do you see him getting better before then? Thank you. Sometimes their timing is off. I mean, doctors are just like psychics sometimes. They like their timing is off, can be off sometimes because they're just going off of trends and like what's typical. I think that I feel like the doctors know what they're talking about. However, I think if anything, like pain can be reduced and also things can be delayed so he can have more time. I definitely feel that that's possible. I know people who were diagnosed with cancer and they went on and lived 2 or 3 more years and they were given like a few months. Someone else who I know who lived 15 years and they were diagnosed with cancer, because sometimes our bodies find a balance between the two. I feel that the next 6 or 7 months are going to be crucial for him. So I think that if he can maybe over the next month or two, try to work on reducing the stressors and also be careful with his blood pressure, because the blood pressure I think is going to have a lot to do with it. That might delay some things, so maybe he has more time with that. But I feel like the next 2 months are going to be significant, so he has to be careful with that. But so the next 2 months he can delay things or slow things down, and then I think the next 6 months would be a good amount of time for him to continue to work on this if he can buy himself some more time, and that's going to be the tricky part there. Also, and I will say this because I know people who they suffer from cancer, but the right kind of medications can help. I know of people who have talked about CBD oils or I don't know where you're at. If you're in Houston, you might have to look at like a Delta 8 or Delta 8. Yeah, Delta 8 THC. Because it's legal, and you can get that anywhere. If you're in a state that has legal cannabis, then I would suggest trying some microdosing, because that could potentially help as well. I'm not a doctor, so these are just ideas and opinions, and y'all need to consult with a doctor about it. But that's what I would say. You might want to try and see, because sometimes our mental state has a lot to do with our healing, or even just our slowing of things down. And if someone is trying to reduce their emphasis on their own physical condition, sometimes just having a little bit of a break can help so that they can focus on other things. So that might help to reduce some of the emphasis and focus on what they've told him. Yeah. Elizabeth Vega, will I transfer my embryo soon, and will it be successful? I feel like you'll transfer your embryo in a couple of months. So June, July. I want to say before August, maybe. I'm thinking before August. I also think that there's like an 85. I feel like there's an 85% chance of success with it. So it feels like it's a pretty good chance there. Before you do so, I would highly recommend a week or two before you decide to do it, or before it happens, to get a Reiki session from a reputable therapist or a reputable Reiki practitioner. Because I know from experience, and I've seen this several times, where clients came in who were trying to get pregnant. After they had a session, in a month they were pregnant. So it happened several times, and it's because I think that the energy helps to balance out some things in your system to help you get pregnant. So check out, I know in Houston, there's Victoria McSpadden. She's really good. And she's my go-to. So I would try Victoria McSpadden. Her husband, Ty, he's also works with her as well. They both have a Reiki practice. But you can try them, or you can just try a reputable practitioner who knows what they're doing. Yeah, Leslie Whittington. I'm wanting to inquire about spirit guides. I'm sure I have them, but if they have any messages for me in particular, that would be great. And names. Yeah. I feel like you have two. Boston is one. That's an interesting name, because I don't know of guys named Boston, but his name's Boston. And then there's a secondary guide, also a male. His name is Kai. Kai, is what I think. So Boston and Kai, both are male. Um, thank you. Sometimes we don't always pay attention to the way we express ourselves. And sometimes we may mean well or we may intend well, and then we express ourselves in ways where it's really just not the best, or we need to be clear because people misinterpret what we have to say. You may need to work on that. You may need to work on how you're expressing yourself and how you're communicating to those around you, especially in any kind of career or work situation, just because people may misinterpret or not fully understand where you're coming from, and you may just need to be clear with people so that there's no misunderstandings, and then it creates drama when we don't really need to be dealing with drama. Okay. Now, sometimes people need to be told what they need to be told, because sometimes people just need to like a wake up call, and our words can be wake up calls to people. Marie Robles, hey Ferny, I'm going to be moving to West Virginia. Do you think this is a good option? I'm trying to better my life. I feel like it's a good start. I actually think you'll end up in Florida, but FYI, even though you're going to West Virginia, I feel like you'll end up in Florida at some point in about 3 year period. But I do think it's a good move. So I do think it'll help you to kind of shift energy up and start to rework your life in a way that I don't think you've done before. But in about 3 years, you'll end up in Florida. So not a bad direction or bad path to go down. The Amberland. Hey Fernie. My move got pushed back. Is it still happening? Thanks, handsome. Yeah, I feel like it may just get pushed back by like 4 to 6 weeks. So there's just maybe like a 4 to 6 weeks difference, from when from when it was supposed to actually occur. So you might just have to wait for an additional 4 to 6 weeks from the deadline, or from the due date, the due date. All right, let me bring somebody on because it's time, and I don't want to run out of time here. Five, four, three, two, one. All right, so that one, a response. Let's try somebody else. Let's try Lindsay here. Hello. Hi, sweetheart. How you doing? Oh, I can't hear. I cannot hear a word you were saying. Do you have me on Bluetooth? And are you
Yes, I
driving?
am
Because I don't want.
talking. I'm
There you
driving.
go.
I'm pulling over right
You
now.
better, because I don't want to be I don't want to talk to you.
Oh my
After
God! He's calling me
craziness. Yeah.
out. Open. Go figure. Oh, see, I'm parked. We're
Thank
wonderful.
you. Thank you.
Oh,
What do
thank
you what do you want to ask me about?
Um, right now, my grandpa, he's so mentally sharp, is physically deteriorating on hospice, and I just want to know: is he scared? Is he in pain and not telling us because he's so tough? Like, I just
Yeah.
want to know how he is,
I
and if
think I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he doesn't want to be fussed with. It's almost like, so here's the thing with some people, and I'm the same way because this is exactly how I am also with animals. If they're in pain or they're struggling through something, the best way that they deal with it is just to shut down and just to go and hide somewhere or go and be on their own. I feel like he kind of wants to feel that way, even though he may appreciate people wanting to visit or wanting to like see him. I also think he
yeah,
appreciates not having all of that interaction because it's like a distraction from him focusing on just trying to get through this. I
yeah,
still think he's got more time. I keep seeing the number two. So my thinking is this is either going to be 2 weeks or 2 months. I'm going
okay,
to lean towards 2 months though. So I'm going to
okay.
lean towards 2 months, but I am seeing that number two. So I'm thinking that's how much she's got. But I feel like he'll, has his arm stopped working yet, or the side of his arm stopped working yet?
He's pretty weak. He
Okay.
recently fell out of his bed.
Okay. When he starts to have like no ability to use his left arm, that's when you're going to get close, because I feel like around the time that he's getting close is when he no longer can use his arm, and someone will have to like basically feed him. At that point, he's going to be going fairly quickly because he's not going to want to be here anymore.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Do you have time for one more thing?
Sure. Sure.
So I've been doing a lot of inner work meditation. I've done a lot of dealing with all the shadows and everything, and now I'm really trying to figure out who's the spirit in me and what is going on and what do I need to know. And I
So
got
you're not broken.
I'm not broken.
So drop that mindset, because people tend to get obsessive about, I got to fix myself, or I got to get 100% right. You're not broken. I also think that sometimes energetically you might express yourself in ways, it's similar to the other lady, but you may express yourself in ways where people don't always understand where you're coming from, and they may take insult to what you have to say.
Always.
You're very much a Gary Vee. Do you know who Gary Vee is?
I don't.
Okay, Gary Vee is a personality on social media, but he's basically like to the point. He will like cuss a person out, but he gives them the best advice as well. You're that tough love personality, and I feel like a part of you doesn't want to be that harsh or that tough because you want to be more at peace, but sometimes you're going to have to allow yourself to just embrace that inner bitch, and that's okay. So it's okay to like allow yourself to be that part of yourself. It's not a part of you that's broken and needs to be fixed. It's there for a reason. Use it.
Awesome. Yeah, I did the meditation and I got that I met the archangel angel Uriel. I saw the name, but I had a face, so I did some research and I'm like, wow, he's Lucifer's is Lucifer's brother, so he loved mean and tough like I do. I was like, this makes sense. So that really helped hearing that.
Yeah, what happens sometimes is because we're conditioned to think, we're conditioned into belief systems, and so most of us who come from a religious background or have these religious ties. Whenever we have an experience with energy, we will have a representation of something we can reference or we can relate to. Most of us who are, for example, Catholic, will see the Virgin Mary or something else. If you're Buddhist, you may see something else. It just depends on the background and what you're conditioned into. But whatever God needs to take the form of to get to you, it will take that form. And so this is just a representation of a higher form, but it's what you're able to accept right now. But it's a representation of what you need to embody in yourself and be okay with. And yeah, just go with it and it's okay.
Thank you so
much. You're
sure
welcome, sweetheart. Absolutely. You're welcome, sweetheart. You take care of yourself.
Bye-bye.
Bye, sweetheart. Let's see. All right, going to someone else. Let's try. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, gonna go to someone else. Let's see. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's try somebody else. Let's see. Got 10 minutes left before I got to get off here, y'all. So I'm going to try maybe one or two more. Let's see. Hello. You're eating.
Hi.
I hope it's good. I hope it's like McDonald's or something. I'm like, now you're making me hungry.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I didn't think you were gonna answer. So
no, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
I'm at work, but I'm.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Don't worry about it. What do you want to ask me about?
So my dad had recently passed away, so I didn't know if
Yeah. So the first thing he's doing, he's drawing my skin. Are you planning on getting a tattoo for him? Okay, he's drawing on my skin, and I'm seeing something on the side of my arm. So he's showing me something on the side of my arm. Now, the way I would interpret that is one of two things: either there's a tattoo that's going to be connected to him that may even be in words, or there's something on the side of his arm that he's trying to bring attention to. But there's a reference to this because that's what he's acknowledging. He is also acknowledging the number 5, which we're in May, but he's acknowledging number 5. So do you know there's a connection to the 5th of a month or May?
Not necessarily.
Okay, so he's showing me that number, so it's significant. There's actually 2 dates of significance in May. So he's acknowledging 2 dates of importance. If you ask Mom, she might know what he's talking about, but there's 2 dates in May because he's acknowledging that. He also keeps acknowledging, thank you. He also keeps acknowledging, if you take a picture of yourself in the mirror, or if you take a picture and there's something in the picture that doesn't seem like it's supposed to be there, that's him. Because he says that he's tried to show up in your pictures, and it may show up in one of your pictures where you're in front of a mirror or next to a mirror, because he's acknowledging that as well. He also keeps showing me a rainbow-colored bear or stuffed animal. Do you have something that's got like a rainbow coloring to it? That's a stuffed animal, like a unicorn?
Not me, but I feel like my brother might.
Okay, because he's showing me something like that as well, so there may be a reference to that. So he's acknowledging that as well. He also makes me feel that he's come. Thank you. It's gonna sound weird. If you ever find a note in the most weird place that has like words of wisdom, even though it doesn't have who it's to or who it's from, but it's almost like words of wisdom that would be significant and match up to what you're going through, he says that's gonna be from him. So to look out for this. It's almost like if I were gonna like I open my till and there's a note in there. I'm like, why is this note in here? And there's like a note that says like something that has to do with like fathers, or something that has to do with love, past grief, or whatever. But he's acknowledging that this will be from him as well, just to keep an eye out for it. He also is acknowledging going back to school. Were you talking about going back to school, or thinking about going back to school?
I had just graduated, and he wanted me to go get my master's. Before he had passed away, he had mentioned like you should probably go do that, and I've been on the fence about it.
He's still telling you to go back. So he's still telling you to go back. So he says yes, to go back to school and get your master's, because he's making reference to that as well.
Okay.
Also, he says to be careful with your driving. Yeah, because you're like not paying attention, girl. You're like totally not paying attention, and you need to not be on your phone.
Because I used to always take him to his appointments because he had cancer.
Yeah.
And he was always like 2 hands on the wheel, like please watch it. You know, he was always on me about my driving.
Yeah, he's still on you, so he's still getting on you. So yeah. But ask your mom about the other dates and stuff. She'll be able to help you understand some of those details. But he's with you, sweetheart. There's a baby with him also, so there might have been a baby in the family that was miscarried, lost, or terminated that's also with him as well. There's also 2 animals. I want to say that there's a dog and a cat that are there, because I almost feel like it's one of each. So he's letting you know that the animals are there.
Okay, thank you again.
You're welcome, sweetheart. Well, you enjoy your lunch and take care of yourself, and be careful with your driving.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, I think I have time for one more video. Let's see. And then I'll do a couple more of the comment ones, and then we'll call it a day. Let's see. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, sweetheart. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Can you see me? I can't see you. Wait there.
Okay.
You might need to turn the camera around. That's what you might need to turn the camera
I'm trying. Oh, I am so inept at this.
No, you're fine. You're fine. There you are.
There
Yay! How you doing, sweetheart?
I'm doing good. How are you? I'm going to step outside. So my daughter's like, "What are you doing?"
So
hey, thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. What did you want to ask me about?
Well, so I want to support myself. I early retired from human resource and corporate and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a master of, jack of all trades, master of none. What should I be doing? Career, work, business? What should I try to focus on? Because I don't want to waste time.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I have things to offer, but I'm so scattered.
Yeah.
And I want to, my daughter has one more year of high school. We lost her dad back in 2010, and it's a lot of, I know there's worse off things for everybody else, but what do I need to be focusing on
So two things
work-wise?
about this. One is I feel like you're probably going to get involved with a nonprofit that has to do with a religious organization. It's either a Jewish organization or a Catholic organization, but it's a nonprofit. I feel like it's tied to a school system, so they may have their own schools or their own type of like. They maintain. It could be a university, but I want to say it's a school connection to this organization. I feel like you might get tied to this through a person that you know or through a contact that you may already have. But you may not see this start to manifest or come to fruition until the second half of next year, 2022. I think the rest of this year will remain relatively the same, but then once this starts to show up early next year, then you're going to start moving in the direction of that. I also feel that part of this has to do with new programs that they're rolling out for the youth or for younger people who can actually make a difference in this world. So it's almost like I would say it's almost like creating peacekeepers and missionaries, but in unique ways that help to improve circumstances on the planet or circumstances within communities. So there's this nonprofit that I think you're going to be a part of. You will bring your organizational skills to this. So I think that your organizational skills and your, what is it, when you have to put the right people in the right places, that will come.
Oh, I was HR and
Okay,
recruiting.
so it's almost like putting the right people in the right thing and like helping people to find their niche, and it's almost going to be something like that. So it feels very much like that. You will get paid. It's not like you're doing it for free. So I feel like you are going to get paid, but it feels like the organization itself will operate under a nonprofit, and I think that will come up, and you'll be with them for a while.
How do I go after that or
What I would say is, I always tell people, keep your eyes open. I feel like you may already know the contact, just not. I feel like the person that connects you to this is already in your sphere of like people that you've met or known. I just don't think it's someone I don't think it's like a close friend. I think it's like just someone that you may have a passing connection to. I would suggest getting yourself on LinkedIn if you're not already on there, and also reach
yeah.
out to people, and just let them know that you're open to opportunities. But I honestly think that this is going to be something that you hear from or someone connects you with early next year.
Oh, okay. And can I ask one more thing real quick? My daughter, being through the whole pandemic mess and everything like that, and um, sh how are her prospects? Like,
Yeah.
she's been through a lot, not having her dad and having a crazy mom like me,
Yeah.
overly protective. Um, am I doing the best I can to help guide her?
I think that you're doing what you can. I think that ultimately she has to find a path that will work for her. Interestingly enough, it's going to sound crazy because in the future, at some point, she will have a farm. It's going to sound crazy. She will have a farm. There will be like organic things grown on this farm, and she will basically be like either owning and managing it or having people working with her, because I see you at some point down the future moving to the farm with her, because you're like,
Shut up.
yeah, and so both of y'all being like these farmers that are also offering wolfing opportunities to people. So there's this like whole future trend. It'll be good therapy for her, but I honestly think she just needs to be away from society and people, and she needs to kind of just be like in her own bubble. And I think this is going to be a way for her to do it. She might leave for a couple of years to go to Colorado or to go to like one of these places that is out up in the mountains, but after that she'll kind of find her own path.
Oh, that is awesome. Like, here's our backyard now that we're trying to do something with, but
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think I think planting, landscaping, farming is going to be very therapeutic for her, and I think that she'll find herself in that.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome,
you.
sweetheart. Will you take care of yourself?
Okay, you too. Thanks.
All right, let me do another one that's text version here, and then I will. Mary C. Garza, hi there. Will my daughter come back home? Yeah, I think she'll come back home she's gonna come back home twice. So she might come back home before the summer's over with, and then she may leave again, and then she may come back home by the end of the year or on the holidays. So she might leave and come back twice. So you may see her doing this twice. If it's not at the end of this year for the holidays, then it'll be the end of next year. But I keep seeing her leaving and then coming back twice. Jen May, hi Ferny, do you know who my spirit guide is? Thank you. Yes, your spirit guide's name is a female. Maddie. It's like a Maddie sounding name. It's a female. Her name is Maddie, I think. I almost want to say it's Melanie, but I think it's Maddie. So it's got like a name like that. Jean Parenti. Any message for my twin brother who passed unexpectedly? Yeah, he's doing a couple of things. One is he's showing me a heart, and then I'm seeing like a break in the heart. So I don't know if he's trying to actually acknowledge like a heart condition for him, or if there's some symbol or some visual thing that has to do with like a broken heart with your brother. Because I'm almost seeing him, and then I'm seeing a broken heart next to it because he's making reference to that. He's also showing me 11, so 11 would be the month of November or the 11th of a month. He also keeps showing me this, so there might be a watch or a bracelet or something that goes around the wrist that might be significant or connected to him as well. He also, thank you, listen for him because he says he's been trying to actually speak to you. You might hear things, actually like audibly hear things. So to keep an eye or to keep an ear out for that because he says he's been trying to like vocalize himself for you. Okay. All right, guys, I love you all. I will be back in about an hour and 15 minutes for our study group time. We are doing our Course in Miracles then. So